paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Dang it. It's all you, my friend.
I thought the loser picks it.
No, I just said the winner picks it.
Okay. It's just a way for us to settle something childish. Seth, sorry.
Wait, when were we were supposed to bring a pistol on and a rifle.
Oh.
Right?
We have a rifle.
I've got a rifle.
And we got a pistol over there.
I got a rifle right here. Go grab a pistol.
All right. Ugh. Totally prepared for this.
Yep.
Okay, this is Seth Hook asks, what is the worst tactics you've ever seen in an Airsoft game? Keep doing what you're doing.
Worst tactics ever?
Yeah, so like what would be something that you would see that I'd say that I've seen everywhere is the fact that like there's a big game and everybody thinks if they get this big group together and they charge that they will win, and it never works out.
I'm cool with the charge. I think the charge
fun.
can work.
It's fun.
Yelling to bring attention to the charge, not such a good idea.
But the charge, like you're like, we're gonna do this big push at Airsoft Nation 2 years ago, and you knew it was gonna fail.
Yes.
But you did it anyway. So it's a failure. It's a failed tactic. Then.
Okay. True.
And that's
rolling. I see that often.
You see rolling.
People roll. Like, like I get like sliding or taking the knee or whatever, but I'll see guys just like lunge out and like barrel roll on the ground and then stand up and begin firing. Does not work as effectively as you might think.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't roll.
The rolling doesn't work.
You ever seen that movie, Wind Talkers?
Yes.
Okay, that director is obsessed with action rolls. You ever notice that?
Yes.
Like, you're like, this is a World War II movie, and
we have to do a Wild West roll.
Yeah, they like rolled like 4 times into a foxhole or something like that. They're obsessed with rolling.
Often?
Everything was a roll.
I didn't know that.
No, my dad was making fun of it when we watched that movie the first time.
All right, this one's from Jacob Hedrick. Answer: what is the best way to breach a room/building?
You run in screaming. I'm kidding. Depends
on how many people you have with you.
If you have like a 4-man team,
which is the standard,
which is like the standard.
Okay.
You know, you'll have your person who's your breacher. Usually, we'll just do something simple like open the door for you.
Okay. So, for example, if I'm the guy in front,
no, you are not the one. You will be in charge of washing the door.
Okay.
The third person in that line will then go up. I'm pretty sure it's the third person. If I'm wrong, don't berate me. Okay. The third person I think will be the breacher. The fourth person is security. The second guy is the second man into the room. And
generally, when you're entering the room,
you go different directions. You cover different sectors.
Your opponent will rarely stand in the middle of the room or directly in front of the door.
Yes.
So if you're the first man in the room, you have to make a choice, right or left. And after going through the door, you need to rotate quickly to the right or to the left to clear out that corner. Once you've done that, then you sweep back in towards the center. And the second guy goes the opposite of the direction you chose. The third guy would then go straight in.
Exactly. The point is, you're moving quickly, you're not all covering the same sectors, and you're not following each other, and you're not flagging each other. Those are basically the 4 main rules. There's some really good YouTube videos out there from some other Airsoft teams who've done this in the past, or they'll do something like make a glass house or whatever out of cones, the glass house thing.
Right.
Or you could find real millet. Now, the thing is, sometimes those tactics don't work necessarily with Airsoft, but sometimes they do.
I mean, for Airsoft, I just open the door and start blasting.
The most important thing is don't stop in the doorway.
Oh, yeah.
And don't... And there's another thing, is there's this trend of people who will, like, block for their teammates. So, like, the first person through the door's whole goal is to get shot.
To take the shot.
And then they'll just keep moving forward as the people behind them eliminate the person who shot them while using the person who's dead as a shield.
And then, of course, complain that you shot them a lot.
Yes. Yeah. And exactly. So that kind of stuff, it's just, come on.
I don't know that door breaching in the case of like replicating real world tactics is all that effective in Airsoft.
Because Airsoft is more related to speed.
Right.
Speed is like the most valuable asset.
Yeah. Plus, 9 times out of 10, you're
gonna get shot. Like if you're a good Airsofter, if you will at least eliminate a few people if you're inside that room before the other opponents can eliminate.
And if you're going up against guys that are doing traditional room clearing, stand in the middle of the room, ready for them.
No, don't even do that. You have to think about it this way. All right, so
Lay on the floor.
some people think that if they apply the exact real-world tactics that they'll win. There's one very, very important thing that real-world tactics have that Airsoft doesn't. That's flashbangs and stun grenades. Oh, yeah. So when they enter the room, they've already stunned the person in there, so they already have a tactical advantage, and as long as they're quickly, they'll be able to have the edge.
Right, right. Okay.
So that's something people forget.
So what you're saying is we need to put real flashbangs in
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Chris Bennett asks, hey, insert, what is the best way to give your teammates cover while they are trying to climb something?
Like a ladder? Or some stairs, or like a building?
Let's go with ladder.
Okay.
Let's be fictitious. So if there's a ladder, I don't really know how. I guess you would want to just cover.
I think that tactic's going to change, depending on what you're climbing. Generally, if there's an opponent on the roof of something you're trying to climb, the guy on the ground is going to have to provide covering fire up over the guy climbing's head. Yes. So you want to make sure that no one peeks over the ledge of whatever you're climbing, so you can eliminate those people. And then, of course, the other guys on the ground need to provide a circle of cover around the guy climbing anyway. That's pretty straightforward, no?
Yeah. That's pretty hard to cover somebody while they're climbing. That's probably like one of the most exposed ways of attacking. I mean, maybe smoke grenades placed in specific areas, but it just comes down to that 360-degree covering or sector watching, whatever you want to call it.
Live flashbangs. All right.
Flashbang the dude climbing the ladder.
David Corducus. Dear Insert, I want to stay with my buddy, but I always find myself working on my own. What can I do to improve my teamwork skills?
What do you think?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends. If your buddy doesn't want to move as much as you do, or
then you need to encourage your buddy to move more.
Right, exactly. Two-man teams and three-man teams work real well in mountain CQB environments because you have I forgot the exact name, and maybe you can help me with this, but you have a certain angle that you can cover effectively. Asking one person to cover a 180-degree view is very difficult.
Fields of fire?
Maybe field of fire. So when you're working in teams, crossing each other's fields of fire, your view, helps you cover someone as they move, making bounding more effective.
Yeah, so I'd say bounding is probably the most important thing, but how do you get a teammate to... There's a few techniques you can apply that if I'll apply the squad version of this, thinking how would a squad stay together, because this is something I've ran into issues with, and I think one of the way that some really good teams will honestly play or go to events is, let's say that squad has 8 members, and let's say they'll kind of apply the black sheep rules, where if 6 members go down, they'll just all say we're Redcon, and just all 8 of them, even though 2 were still alive, will just all go back to regen because their squad is eliminated. They're considered ineffective at that point. Some people will apply that strategy. In terms of sticking with your buddy, it's got to be one of those things where, if you get hit, and let's say you get hit and he can't get to you to medic you or whatever the rules are, and if you guys want to stick together, then he's got to pull out his red rag and go back to regen with you. Him, that's something that if you got to stick together at all times, that's how you have to do it. If they're not keeping up while you're moving, then you got to encourage him to move more. Sure. Have him be the front man. Have you be the one covering and push him forward versus...
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
I mean, when Jet and I were at Redstorm at the paper mill, we were working really well as a 2-man team, and then I went down, and that severely limits the effectiveness of the other person because you really can't cover yourself at all times. Exactly. So then he was trying to deal with. He had to be a lot more stealthy and move a lot more quickly.
Let's get one from the bottom here. No, I agree completely. IB West asks, Dear Insert, where is the best possible place to hold in a room when the other team is breaching? Where the best place to shoot back from?
I've got 2.
I got 2 that are really good.
Okay.
Think of when somebody enters a room. So if they have their gun,
we need a whiteboard.
We do need a whiteboard. Here, give me the G36. Well, all right. So the cool thing is when somebody's holding a rifle, they're plane, their view plane, is usually, I'm flagging the camera, but is usually at this level. Some people don't look up and they don't look down.
So I was saying laying on the ground earlier.
Laying on the ground is, if you're in an open room, like a 4-corner standard room, and if if you're in a four-corner standard room, the best thing for you to do is be on the ground somewhere where it's going to be the last place they're going to look.
Sure, okay.
That gives you an advantage instantly. If you have cover to hide behind, figure out something like that. What was the other one I had? Behind a door.
Yeah, well, okay, so door, yeah.
Because you can block the door.
Right.
Well, it depends on the rules, and then you have that.
Unless they're kickable doors, in which case get ready to get smacked with a moving door.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
In a corner is usually, don't stand in the middle like he said.
Well, so if the room is part of a larger building and then there's a doorway into the rest of the building, taking cover behind the edge of that door certainly gives you a huge amount of hard cover, and then you can just lean out, to the left or the right, and that gives you good cover. Or if there's furniture in the room, a table that you can turn on end if the field will allow it, a file cabinet, something like that. A barren room is really
hard.
Really hard, especially if they flashbang you.
One other one I thought of, though, was if it's a dark room, pick the darkest corner.
Oh, sure, okay.
That'll give you an advantage as well.
Yeah. Or blind them when they're coming in with a flashlight.
Don't do that.
Okay, don't.
Or else you'll remember that's what Jet was at Ironclad.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to just go right to the brightest flashlight, which turned out to be a cameraman.
Yeah.
Well.
Good questions. Good questions. I'm not going to say your name.
Blank name.
Blank name. Hopefully you watch these enough to know that you've asked this question. Yeah, okay.
The blank Atyrian.
Yeah, okay. Dear Insert, what tactics do you use to move right up close to the enemy when you really want a...
Here's what I got.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I think I just hit Siri on my phone.
This is...
Go ahead, continue. No, we're good. We're good. Siri interrupted us.
What tactics do you use to move right up close to the enemy when you really want a melee kill?
I don't know. I don't like melee kills. How would you sneak up to somebody? I'd say quiet feet.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, silence is key.
Yeah, like, I'd just say, like, be as quiet as you can is what I would really kind of consider is...
I find that for a lot of Airsoft players, and sometimes myself included, fast movements are they draw your attention much more quickly. So if you see something move real quickly or you see something drop or whatever, it immediately draws your attention. If you can be patient and take your time and move slowly without getting too far away from them, you may find that to your advantage. But most melee kills you're going to find are most successful when you either catch your opponent by surprise, or you can sneak up behind or on the side of them. Or you can just wait in the darkness and Rambo style somebody.
Yeah, I'd say probably patient and slow movement that's not obvious would probably be your best chance.
And watch, especially if you're playing indoor games, watch the BBs on the ground. A lot of people have a tendency when they're running and moving to kick BBs. And if you're paying attention, again, that 360-degree awareness, if you see BBs shifting and moving around a corner, odds are somebody's there.
That's pretty cool. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
See, I even learned something on this.
And shadows. Watch for shadows.
Yeah, shadows is one thing I've always paid attention to. Noah Potts asks, hey, Enser, what are your tactics for offhand shooting around a corner in CQB? So, I mean, Matt, show your offhand shooting ability really quick.
Oh, okay. So I rarely shoot offhand. I know I should practice, but I don't. So I've seen two ways of offhand shooting.
No, show them your way first.
Okay, so if I have to shoot offhand,
no, show them your way.
So,
show them what you actually do.
So this is my on-hand shooting. This is me offhand shooting. I just present a larger target. The ways, okay, so one of the ways I mean, obviously, offhand shooting, like so, you're just shooting offhanded. I'm not a left-handed shooter. This is really uncomfortable for me. The only way to get over this is by doing it. You have to practice offhand shooting.
Yeah.
And because I never do, I'm terrible at it. Now, one other way I've seen of offhand shooting, I've literally only seen one person do this, but it seemed to work for them, is they're shooting, and then they go, oh, I'm going around a left-handed corner. Like this.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
So you're shouldering it.
Yes, I have actually seen some real shooters do that technique. It's kind of weird. You can do it. You can get your stock fully on the rifle,
which with a vest is not easy.
Not easy. I mean I mean, it's just...
It's a weird transition. That's how you should
want to transition
right.
to it. The hardest part about honestly, here's a cool trick. This is how I learned how to offhand shoot. I went and played CQB someplace, and all I did was use my offhand all day. And you'd be amazed, because when you first do it, you really struggle, but then you just get used to it. And honestly, in terms of aiming, as long as your red dot's on, and it's actually pointed somewhere where you're at least going to hit, it helps a lot, because all you have to do is pick up that red dot. You don't have to pick up the BBs with your eyes.
Trying to do it with iron sights is fantastically difficult. If you're using a red dot, it's so much more easy, because you're aiming to the red dot either way, as long as you've zeroed it
so basically, by getting on, just using your gun all day and offhand, and then if you have to, transition. Everybody has their own technique for how they'll switch hands or whatever. You can do however you want, but I mean, I would just practice. It just comes down to it. Practice. That's how you get good at something, is by practicing. You don't just magically pick it up.
Or just don't do it, like me.
Or just don't do it. You can
present a larger target.
You can just pull your sling out and shoot like this if you had to. I've seen people do this. I've even seen people, like I said, do it in real gun applications before.
What an odd transition.
Yeah, that's really
good question, though.
Good question, though. Let's see. Gucky667. How can I beat a sniper if he has the high ground and I have an AUG on the low ground? You can't.
The sniper's on the high ground?
Yeah.
Blow your dead rag.
You're not going to beat him by... Usually, especially in Airsoft, there's a few things you will never win at. And one is, if they have the wind going this way, and if you're shooting into the wind and they're shooting with the wind, you will lose every time. Unless you're close enough where your BBs can get to them. So that's one way you'll always lose. And high ground.
If you have the low ground.
And high ground and low ground will almost always lose. I mean, this goes back to, how wars were fought in the 1800s. High ground was key. It's more tiring to go uphill than it is to go downhill.
It's easier to get cover when you're looking down because more of the ground covers you.
Exactly. Yeah. So pretty much at that point, I would probably just go, you know what? You can have the hill sniper. I'm going to try to walk around you.
Flanking.
Flanking is your best. You can always gain... distractions are good, and then have a team flank if you can. But don't try to just one-for-one trade. You're not going to do very well.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 more questions, I think.
Two more? Sure.
Let's see how much time we're at. We're doing pretty good on time.
Okay, this one's from Brennan Lumpkin.
What's up, Brennan?
I'm a right-handed shooter, and weak on my left. Better tactics to practice left-handed shooting. I mean...
Practice again.
Without having to repeat the question, Brennan, again, it's just experience, practice.
Yeah, and in terms of, all right, let's just talk about it with a pistol really quick.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is a platform I actually know really, really, really well. So, I remember, a few weeks ago, this was the craziest thing I've ever actually done so, you obviously have your full hand, you have your one hand, and then you have your offhand. Now, some people, what they'll do is they'll switch eyes. You can do it either one you want to do. But one thing that was crazy is what we started doing was offhand, offhand 2-grip. And this was something crazy because why would you ever use your offhand on a double grip?
Yeah.
You never. So it just seems like it was just why are we doing this? And it breaks you out of that comfort zone unless you get back to basics.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. I was really weird. I shot like crap after when we tried that, and it was a really weird feeling. But
it looks strange.
Yeah, it does.
Because your hands aren't comfortable.
Yeah, no, they're not. Versus.
Yeah, it's so much more direct. But, okay.
But when I shoot offhand in my real pistol, I'll use my dominant eye still.
Okay.
And that's my trick to being able to still hit something. All right, last question. Yeah. Jake Nobody. Hey, Matt, George, impossible guest. No guess. What do you think about the best tactic for taking on multiple enemies at once? I run into multiple situations where I'm pinned down by 2 or more enemies and have no one in my vicinity to back me up and no way to back up without being lit up. There's a cool, I'd say... What do you think?
Okay, well... There's two ways I'd approach the situation. If I had a distraction device like a Thunder Bee, Tornado, or something like that, I might use that to my advantage. But generally, when you're outnumbered, you can do one of 2 things. You can try to eliminate one at a time if you have the ability to move. You can back off and go somewhere else, or you
But they said they can't back off.
Right. If you can't back off, then you wait it out. because airsofters are really, really impatient shooters. Really impatient. And if you wait it out and just step back out of the line of fire and just wait, odds are they'll either come to you or they'll split up and move on to something else.
Yeah, they'll get bored. That's exactly where I was going to go with this. So if you maybe can get angle where you're on a one-on-one with somebody, that's one situation. But if you can't get at that angle where you're on always one-on-two, just wait it out. Patience. I am not a patient person, and I've been on one-on-one situations where I get beat just because I was impatient. And I'll be like, oh, damn, but you're more patient than I am. What am I supposed to do? I can't be mad about it.
But that's like I said, just don't waste rounds just dumping ammo down the field.
Yeah.
Conserve, wait it out.
Now, the disadvantage to that also, though, is if you are pinned down, the other one could move on you while the other one does that. Right. If they're a smart two-man team, they should have no problem eliminating you.
Yes. Or pop out at irregular intervals.
Yes. But
you're gonna get. Wait for reinforcements. Get on your radio. Use your throat mic to call in for reinforcements.
Yeah, you're outnumbered at that point. Like, just do what you can. You can't. Like, I mean, what are you gonna do? I think waiting it out and probably just making sure that you at least, if they come around the corner, you can take one out. Maybe that's already a 1-for-1. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Is that are we?
I don't know what time. Yeah, I think we're pretty long here. So, but we're gonna put the rest of these questions back in with the rest. So, if you guys like this section, based on our knowledge,
or if you have any corrections or other advice for people,
if we messed up, I mean, feel free. Don't berate us, please. That's probably one of my pet peeves is like they're berating if you don't know something. It's not our fault if you don't know something.
No, I mean everyone can be wrong.
Everybody can be wrong. I'm wrong all the time.
Useful information.
Yes.
Other than that, thanks for
criticism.
Yeah, thanks for joining us once again for the Not So Round Table. Next week we'll be back to our regularly scheduled Helm of Reasoning with the items that need to go back in there. Actually, if you want to start loading those back in the helmet.
Well, I'm gonna basically crumple these ones up, put them all together, and throw it back in. Right. But next is basically what's going on right now is Airsoft Con is coming up in a few days from when this episode airs. Actually, right now there's probably I'm gonna bet 15 people are lined up already.
Oh, yes, because it's Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. I'll bet you 15 people are in line already. So
this weekend's going to be a lot of fun.
What do you think? I think 15 people. How many do you think?
I don't know. Last year was pretty impressive. Wednesday?
What do you think, 20? I'm saying 15.
Yeah, I'll figure less. I don't think it'll be more than 15. I'll say 10.
All right, 10 and 15?
So we'll guess.
We'll see who wins.
All right.
Price is Right rules?
Sure.
Wait a minute. I'm the high. That doesn't benefit me. I wanted 11.
Yeah. We'll see you guys later.
All right, see you later.